So if you didn't know, Jimin is going to military service. BTS is now facing hiatus.
They're not able to dodge it anymore.
Nope. Serve your fucking time.
It's a law over there.
It's a law, and it's a fucking like core value of men in Korea. It is a core value as a man to serve your country there for 2 years. Some do it for 30. But you are raised with a belief of service to that principle. Mm-hmm. To not want to do that because you made a little bit of money, got a little bit of fame. BTS stans come at me because I'm gonna say you're a petty bitch. Absolutely, share that to Twitter. In fact,
they're gonna rip
BTS
you apart.
Jimin petty.
BTS fans, I do not share the same views.
He is a stan for BTS.
Not a stan, just a big fan.
Big fan. Okay, a fan. A fan.
There's a difference between the stans and the fans.
I don't know.
I'm not going to hop on Twitter and threaten to murder you. I'm just going to. Have you seen K-pop Twitter and how literally in arms they get over the dumbest shit?
Hey, BTS fans, do a meme of how my receding hairline. Show me what you can do. There we go. That's how I feel about it. You're copping out of service. It's dude. I've served with those guys, and those people. They love the U.S. soldiers. They love they love the camaraderie. They always want to train, talk, learn English. It's all about the family friendly. Like, oh no, I've got videos hanging out with a couple of those guys for like a 7-day journey we did, and it was fun. It was fun. So everything that's trending is right here, and so let's start with Kanye West. He wants to buy Parler. Why he wants to buy Parler? Because he has gone to podcast after podcast after podcast hating on the Jewish people that are behind the scenes, very anti-Semitism. He's saying that they run the world, and he is so dead set on it. Like, this is what's happening.
How many Jewish people do you think are on the board for Parler?
I don't think, no.
Because
it's privately owned.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
One of them's got to be Jewish. Who owns Parler? Now I got to find out.
It was that one guy who bought it when Trump got banned originally or whatever. He built it, and then
Trump got banned from Parler?
Well, he got banned from Twitter. And then
I know he got banned from Twitter.
So Steve Bannon, he is now in contempt conviction. He was contempt of court because he didn't want to do X, Y, and Z. Now all of a sudden he is he was trying to give over information against Trump. That didn't really work out. So now apparently he's going to spend 6 months in jail. I'm just reading the headlines here. Now Russia's drone attacked. We already know Russia's a piece of shit. Come at me, Putin. The one thing that I thought was really funny that's happening in politics. So basically this man's been like a conservative Christian, right Republican person. And he was running for office, and he had a son who was also homosexual, pro-Trump, pro-him, Herschel Walker, that's his name. And I saw on Instagram that it turns out that he was anti-abortion, claimed he had never had an abortion, and that he actually had a woman who has one of his kids that he gave money to for an abortion like a few years ago. And it was a big thing a couple of weeks ago. And then now he's saying, yeah, that's his check that he gave to her, but he sends money to everyone, that it's a lie. So his son came out and was like, no, he's got kids from hella people. He's had hella abortions. I'm done with the lies.
He's deep in that life.
Barely 3 weeks out from Election Day, who will win control of the Senate, where early voting to be a police officer?
And where's this one from?
This is from my hometown. This is from Johnson County, from the sheriff from Johnson County, which is a legit
This is that guy.
badge. Everyone can make fun, but this badge, give me the right. Let me finish.
I am with the police. Have you seen that clip?
I have the right to work with the police and get things done.
Walker saying he's participated in training and leadership programs with law enforcement for years.
Does that have arresting authority, or it's an honorary badge?
It is an honorary badge, but they can call me whenever they want me, and I have the authority to do things for them, to work with them on things.
The National Sheriff's Association said an honorary badge, quote, is for the trophy case. Who makes the decision to flash it at the debate?
That is totally not true.
The Johnson County...
So but he spits off all kinds of like really woke, I wouldn't even say it's woke, really like far right bullshit all the time.
I want to find his quote of when he busted the badge out. It was, he said something and it was almost nonsense. He like busted the badge out.
So much shit he says is nonsense, but I thought it was so funny, and we'll put up a picture here. His son, with a Trump shirt, is claiming that he is not only a wife beater, mentally unstable, but beat him, his mother, chased them around the country for 6 months, and also has many women, many abortions. If he gets, and he's almost about to win in the polls, he's winning. How the fuck did Biden do so bad that people like this can, like, you're either at one stupid extreme. I'm so lucky he is not in California, because that's a whole other extreme. Like, this dude would put choke collars around people and be like, okay, say one bad thing, zap. You know?
Everybody wears a choke collar. We hear one bad word, we zap them.
Yep. It's fucking crazy. Now, because Black Adam's coming out, and because I'm a cinephile. I love my TV, I love my movies. Watching a show called Kin right now. Just watched the half of season finale for Game of Thrones, the dragon.
Yeah.
Very disappointed. I hate the character switches. They could have just aged them up by a couple of years, but they decided to swap them out and then say, a 4-year period of makeup is like 30 years on screen. No, completely two different people. They literally swapped the actors out.
Instead of a little CG, little makeup, whatever.
Alan, throw a little CGI, make me look a little older.
So we don't have the capacity.
That's all they needed to do. There wasn't even that much. It wasn't like they were using a young body for sex scenes or anything like that. It was so stupid. They had to change the accent, the actress, all of it. Facial features, hairline. It's a completely different person. And then say, and in my opinion, they did it for 3 main characters. They could have just aged them up, prosthetics, but then they had the same people they were dealing with, the same age, and then just aged them up, and they had just as much screen time.
Boom, gray wig. Gray.
That's what they did with
that's all you got to do.
Sir Kristen Cole. He was aged up with a little gray and stuff, and he's like a psychopath that works for the Queen now. And then it was so funny. I was like, well, I wonder, and this is what broke me. I was like, working with coworkers, I wonder how hard it was to work with those actresses, and maybe they're just saying they swapped them out, but they got like big heads. Because if they only swapped out 2 or 3, and it supposedly was 30 years throughout the series, why didn't they just age everyone up if they aged up like 20 people and not 23 people? It's more likely that they were rude.
Contracts are violated, heads got too big or something.
Got caught in a threesome, crazy shit happens in the workplace. My point being, got me on a spiral thinking there's no reason why they would say waste $1 billion opportunity versus aging them up a little bit. Definitely a waste of a movie episode, but all the shit with Black Adam that's coming out now on Friday, with all the promotions that I'm seeing everywhere, I keep seeing Ezra Miller, because The Flash was supposed to come out a year ago.
Who's Ezra Miller?
The guy who plays the Flash in the DC movies. So Ezra Miller apparently
burgled some places.
He was running a cult. Do you remember Kristen Mack?
I never watched Smallville.
Well, she was a part of a sex cult. Yeah, trafficking young girls, all that. Look it up. Something about the DC curse, and there is a DC curse, death.
The DCs, I've loved the movies more, but they have so much crazy shit that goes on with the people who
now
make them.
Now you have Ezra Miller, who not only attacked a woman on camera, physically choked one, slapped one, then he kidnapped one. Kidnapped a little girl, 16, 15 years old, supposedly wanted to be with him, but the mother had filed missing reports.
She's also 16, so...
Took it across state lines, did all that, and now, guilty to burglary, faces 26 years in prison, occupied home of a petite larceny, faces 26.
Pleading not guilty and up for 26 years if convicted.
Stolen item were less than $900 in total value. Felony charge burglary has a maximum of 25 years. Prison, $1,000 maximum fine. 1 year, similar to $1,000. Also agreed not to have any contact with the homeowner and return to the residence.
So, is it
disorderly conduct, and harassment, and then second-degree assault charges less than 4 weeks later, then pled to no contest to the assault charge, paid $500 fine and $30 in court costs. Where he's paying that small court cost, I don't understand. The harassment charge was later dismissed. Miller also accused of choking one woman in an Icelandic bar and harassing another woman in her home in Berlin. But this is all separate to the bullshit that happened in Hawaii. He went on a tirade of destruction, personal damages to hotels and places he was staying at, so he got banned from. There's all kinds of shit this did. But he filmed this movie in 2019. It is 2022, and that is $100 million, $200 million, and they're just contemplating not releasing it. And I'm like,
that's a lot of money.
Talking about CGIing a face.
To make it someone else.
Make it somebody else.
Hello, other actor. Would you like to do some expressions for us? We'll
all kinds of shit you could have done. It's just insane to me that they wouldn't do that. World War Hulk.
There's Hulk has a World War?
Oh yeah, there was a whole option. They did. World War Hulk was after he was on Sakaar in the comics, and he came back as World Breaker Hulk. He was angry against the Illuminati, so he came back and killed everyone.
So it was the World versus Hulk.
Yeah, World War Hulk.
How I never heard of that.
Well, so he just in the show She-Hulk, he left because I was watching it with my daughter. He left Earth and then wasn't there to help She-Hulk, which is a whole other thing.
That's a whole different storyline.
Yeah.
Oh, G4 is closing. Do you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Nobody gave a shit about G4 when they were the 3 p.m. show on
They were great on
Channel
TV.
79.
Their comeback was cool, and it quickly fell off.
Well, yeah, but you can put money into anything.
Well, their problem was they were competing with themselves. They had too many channels, too many contents, too much. They split their bait, their viewer base.
Another wave of suicide drones? No way.
The ones they've been putting all the bombs on, yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting bombs, grenades, all sorts of crazy shit on these drones.
They're not your typical drones. Those are aircrafts that are in the size of drones.
So that's just the next technology, and like those dummy bombs or whatever, you launch them. Not cruise missiles, but the technology,
It's fucking ridiculous either way.
Russia's getting prisoners to fucking bomb people. God damn.
They're running out of people that are volunteering, of course.
Yeah.
What would you do?
If I was in Russia and all this crazy shit was happening?
Because right now, imagine this guerrilla warfare, right? And then you have on-site warfare, more suburbs, favela type, abandoned homes, everything's been evacuated. But then you have people living their normal lives in different cities. Why not bomb them? If I was Putin,
don't bomb them. If you're an evil dictator, fuck yeah, do it.
If I was Putin, I'd stir up a bunch of chaos in different parts by hitting them with small bombs, X, Y, and Z. Absolutely. But if I was also Putin with limited people, I would probably do that to destabilize the military around said areas or have them tighten their net because they're being hit from inside.
If you're throwing these drones up and over their shit, they got to spread out their troops.
Yeah, and there's not many in Ukraine either. They just have a lot of our money, the U.S.'s money. Taxpayers. The problem is they have over, $80 billion from us. And all they're doing with that is buying foreign arms. They're not buying people. They got a bunch of people who are volunteering, but they don't know what they're going over for. And we've lost, nobody's talking about the Americans that volunteered for the war and went over there that haven't come back. That's a whole other separate story we could talk about. But from a business end, it's driving the cost of goods up because any manufacturing that uses gas, like China, they're raising their prices on material for silicon-based chips. There's a chip shortage that's really just a worker shortage because they keep shutting down factories for their 6, 7.
Yeah.
They can, as long as they're not weaponizing nuclear means or biological means, they're going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
So this is better than the outcome that could be. Because the moment they do something to involve the UN, real terror, Hitler type stuff, genocide, nuclear, Holocaust stuff.
They're already
They're there.
Yeah.
But if they do that, then the UN's going to say, okay, now everyone's involved.
And then China, Russia, whoever they're going to grab.
Iran backing up Russia. Then you got any other people. I don't know how to say that.
The terror folk.
The terror folk.
Hi there. How you doing, sir? Good. How are you? Good. My name's Officer Winters with the Newton Police Department. The reason I pulled you over is because you have your bright lights on.
Yeah, I have a headlight out, so I just keep my brights on.
Okay, well that's not legal.
Oh, is it?
No.
Yeah, I turn when a car comes by, I turn them off. But like,
well, you didn't with me.
Oh, you weren't close enough though. You were a while back.
It has to be within 500 feet.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
And you're not supposed to have your brights on in the city limits.
My fault.
You got your license, registration, insurance with you?
Yeah, I got you.
I hate cops, man. I'm just like, the cops like this are really pissing me off. A special challenge that Biden faces because of his age. That people will assume the worst. If he's not always visible, then something has come. The oldest president in office said to him, for decades, perception is important to the American politics. A weekly ritual. So he just lives in Delaware.
It sounds like he's taking weekends off every single weekend. Not off, but, going home to work from home or whatever the hell he's doing.
If he does that, he's
Scroll back up. He's doing the biggest issue is the pets. They cause a bunch of delays and all sorts of... You can't be taking your pets back and forth. That's a lot of more wrangling you got to do that the president's not. Like, do you want to retain someone to wrangle your pets? Do you want to do it yourself? I don't know.
Trump also spent 23 days in Camp David, 135 days either Mar-a-Lago Resort in Palm Beach or whatever. Some 21 months into his term, 55 visits to Delaware, totaling 174 days of Sunday, according to CNN analysis, presidential schedules, and tally kept. So he spent way more time. People gave Trump a bunch of shit about not being at the president's, manor, not doing presidential business and always traveling, golfing. But Biden has already beat his vacation days. Damn. He has now surpassed even the getaway time in former President Donald Trump, so often criticized by the Democrats of his regular departures of the White House to stay at one of his personal homes. At this point of his tenure, Trump has spent about 135 days at either Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, or his home at a golf club at Bedminster. In New Jersey, Trump had also spent 23 days at Camp David. President Biden is deeply proud of his roots and his family and has been a staple of his job, of his time in public life, to never lose touch of either. White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates said to CNN, President of the United States is constantly on the job, regardless of their location, whether they're on the state visits or overseas, just 100 miles from the White House for a short trip to Wilmington, Delaware. As all Americans can agree, it is important for leaders to avoid becoming ensconced with Washington, D.C. Bullshit. Your job is 8 short years.
Our brand makes the simplest things seem super valuable. That our name can turn anything into gold. We look at typical things like Gucci and Louis and all that stuff. Because of the name, it's so much. Because of the name, we spend more. Supreme, we spend more. Nike,
I hate Supreme.
We spend more. Nope. Sony, we spend more. Certain airlines.
I like Sony for the quality.
More. Not because it's doing anything different. Not really truly because of the quality or anything like that.
I spend more on Yeezy because it is different.
But 9 out of 10 times it's because of the name.
Quality is better.
Are we focusing on our brand?
I like these guys for the podcast.
No matter how far I go, my car is stolen. Steady trying to find the most.
So this is what Benny did. Drove around.
LA is a sunken place. There were stray dogs everywhere roaming the streets. There was burned down, destroyed businesses on every corner. And
this
there were
is
city parks that were
LA
taken by homeless encampments. But
and I'll mute Benny's voice so we don't get a copyright. But basically, this is video from Instagram of his video from YouTube. He had a 9-minute video where he just drove around. This is all of downtown LA. All businesses shuttered, squatters, people just driving around, living on street corners, doing drugs in public, and the cops are nowhere to be found. It is.
I mean, they'd have to like wage war against the homeless.
But the problem is the policymakers. There is probably $1 trillion in business in these blocks he drives by yearly.
Not anymore. All ruined, all burned out, all abandoned.
This is California, people. If you did not know, this is where we're heading. Everyone thinks it's the Sunshine State, the Golden State. It is not.
Weather's not even that good anymore. Weather's not even that good anymore.
It is the heroin and fentanyl capital of the world, in my opinion. Maybe not for the numbers. There's cities that are greater in mass for amount for what's sold, but this is more open area. There's treadmills on the side of the road, and then he gets into the camp areas where it's nothing but tents. And you got people, you got cars that are in the middle of the road just stripped for parts.
All the jackets over that barbed wire so they could hop the fence.
Dude, it is bad. So people built higher fences with higher barbed wire, and then they left the state. Mutual Trading Co., I guarantee, doesn't exist anymore. But this is where we fight back here in Carmichael, California, by chasing them off constantly. Otherwise, you get the burnt down tree next door, and you get the back of the business that was set on fire.
The van that got exploded, the bricks thrown at people, shit smeared on walls.
Newsom doesn't understand this, and I want this put on Instagram, Alan. Gavin Newsom, understand that if you walk these streets, you'd be stripped bare-ass naked. Bare. Taken for every penny, every thread, every hair. Because you have no moral, no, I'll say, you have no balls to handle this. You delegate it to the lower people, and they delegate it to the lower people, to where private security is now in charge of this. One man against an army of drug users with nothing to lose. Can't go to jail, but we can. We need help. So either you must help or move the hell on to somebody else who can do it. If you can't do your job, find somebody who can, or we will. Hopefully in November, you'll be gone. You never know. So what I was thinking of doing was driving around downtown Sacramento
and showing off how it is around
the
here.
Exact same thing, because it is just as bad in Sacramento.
I remember not even as bad as it was now when we went down
2020.
Yeah, a freaking ghost town. I remember going.
That was right
downtown,
after the riots. Yeah.
Foot traffic, tons of people, businesses, street peddlers, a couple homeless people hanging out. Like, it was busy.
Cesar Chavez Park was nothing but homeless people back then, and it was fine because they would clear out in the morning, they'd clean up the park, but you had to be gone.
And then they all, wherever the fuck they hung out in the city, and then back to the park.
This is bad for business for everyone. Look at this. All the businesses are shuttered. This used to be a clothing district right here. It was nothing but high-end stores, high-end clothing districts, warehouses that sold fashion, denim. All you had. LA was a happening place for studios, shoots, all that. Now you have Warner Brothers, and that's it. You got Disney, and that's even bad enough. This is the same way it looks in front of Disney.
I'd love to see Disney Riot Police. Well, they're all kitted up, but they got mouse ears.
In California, they still have their own laws, so they handle it internally. They just throw everybody to the road, and any homeless that's there gets violently removed.
Because they're not. That's not happy. Can't have that there.
No, there's nothing but happy. It's a tragedy, a fucking tragedy. It says, somebody here says, Junior Zakula says, I have been in more than 40 countries and 200 cities, including third world countries, and haven't seen that many homeless in LA. Awesome. It looks like the scene from Escape LA or Escape New York with Snake
Plissken. For real, though.
Cue the underground criminal government enterprise. And I can confirm there is an underground criminal enterprise in every one of these cities. There is somebody who goes around and doses, hey, you need fentanyl, you need this, you need that. They will trade
if you
black
could find
market.
me some Jordans.
Exactly.
I got fentanyl.
Not even that.
But if you help me do
food stamps,
thing,
Social Security, they go around and they collect monthly. And they sell their cards. They'll sell their cards.
They're just collecting the Social Security off all these homeless people.
But these people get a monthly allotment.
Yeah.
Right? So
here's your $200 out of your $1,000. Here, like, they give you a bunch of shit, but it's still, they're preying on all these fucking people.
And people are blaming Democratic leadership. I don't think it's as simple as just Democratic leadership. I think it's even whether
it's a flaw with the United States.
It's a flaw with Newsom, specifically for what's happening in California, because he delegated it to local leadership to handle the homeless and make sure they were treated as people or persons, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't do that because they're not just people. They are people taking advantage of public property. You know, they need to be warned. There has to be and I've bitched about this for a year when we were armed up after the first attack. You know, when I had to draw down on the guy, I wore my body, show a clip of me sitting there in my body armor, Alan, ready to kill a homeless person, and I was pissed. And I can say that of a mind now that, sure, it may not be their fault for the situation that they've been allowed to live in, but they're too comfortable now where they are overrunning the average person 3-1 in any situation. Not let alone the criminals that are now taking advantage of that. There are people following people home.
They're trying to get you to drop your shit, flee your business, and then have their way with whatever the scraps are.
Yeah. I'm not going to get started on all the new drag shows, but I will show you this one that really got me in a school. Family-friendly drag show at a school.
No leotards in a family-friendly drag show.
That's a 4-year-old kid right there. Tipping, grabbing money to tip. Yeah. Sad day. Oh, and this guy, to our old podcast. No, this is a guy, identifies as a guy. He is a reporter, showed up to the Halton District School Board meeting where the viral teacher who wears massive fake breasts is employed, and showed up and got thrown out because it was obscene. Didn't make a scene, but showed up looking obscene, so was thrown out promptly. Just saying. Unfair.
Snips are crazy.
Hey, same ones. All kinds of crazy shit happening. Libs of TikTok tries to do, but the one thing I think that they're really set on now is the anti-sexualization of children. You know, because they play all this shit. Waco, Texas did their own like park community drag show. This is last weekend. Yeah. You got a lot of drag shows are being introduced right now. I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one where the teacher who was employed there did that and then was let go afterwards.
Do that in pants, leggings, be covered.
I don't understand why kids need to be present for it, and that's my opinion. I
they can go to drag shows, have a family-friendly routine. Don't do the...
You can show men in dress, right? And that's women in dress, men in dress, binary, non-binary, I don't care. Show them in dress. But if a normal man won't undo his zipper and show his underwear, I don't think anyone should. That's the same, like, I don't want my kids to be exposed to that type of thing. You know what I mean?
There's a certain level of decency privacy. If you're bringing kids into it.
Yeah, and like, so my son has a habit of punching me in the dick. He doesn't understand it. It's not pleasant. It is the opposite of pleasant. I don't know, for some men out there, maybe not. Some people are not.
I mean, not from kids if they enjoy it. Fuck that.
But my son is 2.5, and he'll just randomly go, Rhino, run up, get you. And it is so, like, there was swelling once. So on point with his accidental clips when he actually gets it. So imagine, bag hanging. He'll come down and knock, like, both of them. Just full on.
The haymaker.
You ever played the Knuckles game? Like that?
Mm-mm.
Whoever gives up first, he plays Knuckles with my testicles.
And you don't fight back.
I can't. I have picked him up by the shirt once and was like, oh. He's small enough and he wasn't hurt by it or anything, but he understood no was no. But he's always so like animated because he watches all these shows and he's impressed by these shows that cause the hype, right? And so it's imagine my son goes to a drag show like this and sees his kids dancing and doing all that, he's just going to want to show his groin and do all these things. And because he's so young, he doesn't understand, but he thinks it's the right thing. So if Spider-Man did that and danced that way, he would do it because he's impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
But that impression doesn't stop when they stop acting out immediately to the things they want to do. They just get more curious about it. They do it behind closed doors, or like tell their friends they want to try these things. So then all they're doing is making kids want to do these dance moves and all these like sexy looking things that they think, because they don't know it's wrong. They don't think it's wrong.
They don't know what sexy is as a concept.
Exactly. They just think it's cool, and like everyone's applauding and giving them money, and that it's sexualizing them in a way that they don't understand.
When freaking twerking first became popular, obviously it existed for decades before. All the videos of kids doing that stuff, they don't understand how it's perceived by people, how it is on, whatever. They're just, it's funny. Butt shaking.
Where's that movie, the show that had
Yeah, what was the name of...
So Netflix sexualized the children in the show Cuties, where they danced around... crop tops, revealing clothing while danced provocatively in several scenes. They took the show down. It was a whole thing. So how is this not the same thing 2 years later? And I believe it's an agenda that's being pushed, because I watched the documentary, The Rise of George Floyd and the Greatest Lie Ever Sold, BLM, rest in peace. And in that movie, they show that millions of dollars were funneled to businesses and people with new names, new trans activist communities. And it is astonishing that some of these places strictly put on trans drag shows, affirming studies.
I mean, a trans drag show would just be a show.
I understand that, but there's... These things are heavily pushed, and they got millions of dollars to do this. So there is an agenda behind it. It's not so much... I think that the people who create it are hopefully trying to make all this shit just the same bar.
They want to normalize it.
They just want to normalize it. But I don't think they understand the long-term damage it can have if you just impressionize all these kids to this so
They're
quickly, so young.
There's no long-term damage to trying to make people impressionable. There's issues with how people are doing certain things, but that doesn't mean trying to make
long-term
lewd drag shows. Not around kids. You shouldn't be doing it.
But that's what they're trying to do.
It's your freedom to do all that stuff, but there's kids, no kids.
Generation younger. That's their main goal. That's the agenda.
No, that's almost stripping at this point. You wouldn't let a stripper into an elementary school.
But that's what they're trying to do.
You should have a little drag show. It's just a man in a dress. We're sticking strictly with drag.
It's almost like Fashion Week for drag.
Have a little thing. But men do this sometimes. Boys do this sometimes. And then that's all it has to be. You shouldn't
make it fashion, proud.
No spread eagle, dead drop maybe.
Give me a dress. I'll do it. I'd walk down the red carpet, show my kids it's okay. You want to do what you want to do. You want to play dress up. You want to feel good in your skin. Do it. What I won't do is Marilyn Monroe that shit. I won't show my 6-year-old Marilyn Monroe the dress, the Mr. President. There's a sexualization there.
Yeah.
Even my 6-year-old, I will show bloody gore and violence too, before I will show sex, because they can't explore blood, gore, and violence the same way that they can explore sexual acts.
They're not going to be able to get a giant chainsaw, but they have a body. You know?
Exactly. But then they'll explore, and they'll touch, they'll kiss their cousins, they'll do all kinds of crazy shit.
Weird kid shit.
I understand. I was a kid.
A dress as needed. Hey,
I'm not opposed to kissing boys. I understand. I did it when I was a kid. It was one of those things. Life happens, but I wasn't exposed to it. But the person who ended up, inviting me into that at 7 years old was. So, shit happens as kids. They all experience different things. I just don't want somebody else to be in control of what my kids are exposed to. And I feel like a lot of teachers and people are with me there. It should be that teachers teach kids the standards of making it in the real world with the information of where their world is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't be morality. Teachers shouldn't have that job. Morality is for the parents to teach. You know what I mean? That's why there's different Muslim families do it differently than Christian families.
But then that's where things get so confusing because the parents should control the morality of their household, but like
some don't.
Trying to reject some don't. Some just let everything be cool, whatever. That's their right. But people keep drawing morality against like LGBTQ stuff and say that's immoral, and that's where it gets weird because how much of that should be their right?
LGBTQIA plus negative people out there. Like we're gonna call them far centered. You know, they're never political. They are agendaed.
It's very political if they're anti-LGBTQ.
I wouldn't say they're anti. They are so like togetherness that everyone has to be included in everything always, that some of these teachers that I've seen on Instagram and TikTok are now talking about, well, we know better than the parents. We know what they want because they confide in us. Well, I never confided in my teachers. I don't know anybody who really confided at 6 to 10 unless there was something going on in the household.
Not about gay, but I confided in teachers about schooling and grades and shit, you know?
But it wasn't something like 6 to 10 years old where you're like talking to them the same way you would a parent.
That's how I got speech therapy. I complained to a teacher who went to my parents, you know?
Were your parents of financial like means? Did you complain to your parents about it?
I mean, I had a teacher ask me why I hated reading and didn't like talking in class. And it's because I still to this day stumble, stutter, and have issues. It's better now, but like the parents don't always know.
Yeah, not everything, but that's where the teachers pick up.
Oh, sorry, teacher went to them. They had a little meeting. I don't know what happened. That was 24 years ago. You know, I don't.
It's just such a prevalent thing. That's why I think I bring it up so much. Is it's happening so massively right now, and it's everywhere on the internet. I can't go 3 swipes on a social media without this shit happening. I don't know who's in control of the drag shows, but the shit needs to stop. It just needs. It's not doing anyone more good.
They all need to wear
bad
bell-bottom pants while you're doing a show. Full clothing.
Drag fashion show. Be in your own skin, do your own thing, but they don't need to dance for money. And the people running it,
cute little kid, the dumb bullshit that you hold the kids' hands, you do you dance around, dance. You don't need to be doing a full dance. Want to,
yeah, that whole song, do all that shit. Like I'd be happy, and I will include and I don't think I am far right conservative. I would say that I am a conservative parent, but I am not like God, country, bullshit, anti-abortion. Like, sure, I think there is a limit to an abortion term because once it starts to think and experience, that's me. My personal opinions don't have to line up with everyone. I understand that, and I am different than most in that way. But my family is my say. I have a control over my family because I provide and I protect that family. Until people pay, provide, or protect my family the same way I can, don't fucking tell me what I can do or what I want them to do or how I want them to be treated. I could just imagine
someone comes in and they're like, you need to do this with your kids. And you're like, and what are you? And they're like, $5,000. And you're like, we're listening.
That's the idea, right? You're going to provide.
Yeah.
I want everything that I do, provide, protect, nurture the same way that I do.
At that point, they're
take my responsibilities.
They're buying stock in your family.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's what people are, right? They create a family and then they pump the stock. Pump the stock in your family. And I talk to all these people that I interview all the time, and I'm like, hey, plans for family in the future. And I was talking to Dustin today, and I was like, he's been married a year, together with a woman for 8 years. Sounds like a really great and healthy relationship. And apparently they've been trying for about a year. And I was like, man, it'll change you. For me, I was business driven 7 days a week for the last 9 years. Absolutely. Got married. My daughter was my world, even more so than my wife. She was the reason I wanted to get married. I got married within a year because I saw the value in that legacy. You know, coming from a family with children that weren't their own, that, you know, stepfather type, and how I was treated. I was the favorite. Unfortunately, I was told so. I was treated as so. That bond to me built me. So I was like, okay, I see a child that really likes me, doesn't like men, just hated, shy around men, and it was just like, Christopher, boom, you know, friendly, endearing. And we ended up making it work. And then we got pregnant and had another devilish child that really had me lose faith in children for a short period. No, he's great. I always give him shit. He'll see this down the line. He'll understand. He's a tough one when he hit 2. I will say that. You know, I lose sleep over it. You know, worry about that kid constantly. But, man, parenting changes everything. I went from working 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, and she jumped on the boat, understood that support, gave me the support, and then it was, I need to work 5 hours a day. Cool, 5 days a week. Now it's, all right, I come and go as I please. I'll work on what I need. Everything else is a passion. That's where we're at.
You got projects? No. See you later.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm next door for 3 hours.
If you didn't know, we'll pop up the Instagram. We'll pop up the Twitter. Come give us a follow there. We're there a lot more often. Episodes are going to span out a little bit over the move. So we're going to probably do like bigger episodes on Fridays and then a couple of clips here and there Monday, Wednesday. So if you didn't know, hit the bell below. That one right there. Just hit it. It's not going to do you any bad. If you can't do it, get Grandma over here. She'll love it. We'll see you next time.
Life can be super happy, life can be super sad. I'm trying super hard to separate the good and bad. I go back to my future just to get to my past, but knowing me, my DeLorean will probably crash.